Hey, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Berman Nation. We're talking about Chapter 7 of our algebra class here. We're going to get right into it so we can keep your time awesome. So we're going to start talking about monomials. Ooh, that's a tiny little one. A monomial. Monomials are a number, a variable, or a product of a number and one or more variables with non-negative integer exponents. That means that your exponents cannot be negative. They must also only be one term. That's what mono means, one. And we'll talk about binomials later in this chapter or very, very soon. So real quick question. Back in the day when we used to do this class without doing videos, we had you guys do a think, pair, share, and you're supposed to say, is A a monomial? Is B, C, or D a monomial? So here's the answers. A is not a monomial because it's got a subtraction sign. B is a monomial because it's a combination of constants, variables that are all being multiplied together, and they are to a positive exponent. 3/8 is also a monomial, and then letter D is not a monomial because we have that dividing by a W at the bottom. All right, so here we go. We have a key concept here. Our most important thing here, I'm going to move my face if I could, I would. We're going to do it like this, though. I can make everything else move. Oh, yeah. Big idea here. We have bases, powers, and exponents, just a review of certain things. We have when you multiply x to the 5th times x to the 8th, you just add the exponents together to get x to the 13th. So what we are going to do is the same type of an idea on this first example. So more or less, you multiply the coefficients together, and then you multiply the variables that have the common match, like an r gets multiplied with other r's. So we're going to have a negative 12 times the imaginary one that's in front to keep it a negative 12. And then r to the 4th times r to the 7th turns into an r to the 4 plus 7, which just makes it a good old-fashioned r to the 11th. So you don't need to write all that what I just did, but this would just be an r to the 11th. And that's the type of work that we're going to be doing in this specific lesson. So let's keep moving. I have another idea here for you. So what we were just done talking about is you're going to take and you're going to match up your parts of the problem. So your regular constants, or the coefficients in this case, are going to get plugged together. So 6 times 5 makes it a 30. I'm going to erase that. And then my c to the 1st power, even though it's not written there, and my c to the 5th make a c to the 6th. Really common mistake there for people not to understand that that's 1c. And then my d to the 5th and d to the 2nd get multiplied together to make a d to the 7th. And all these things are one string of a monomial, and that is your answer for this one. Now to make things a little bit more difficult, we have a rules of a power, which means that if I have a power on the exponent of something inside the parentheses, this 5 gets distributed to all items on the inside. So what that means, like on this example, the 4 gets to the y to the 1st, 4 also goes to y to the 3rd, and the 4 also goes to the negative 3. So I take that negative 3 to the 4th, I take that x to the 3rd to the 4th, and the x and the y to the 1st to the 4th. So all of those items get to that 4th power to make an official final answer of 81 x to the 12th, y to the 4th. So let's see if we can go that same idea here. Now we're going to have some daisy chains together. So we have a 2 to the 3rd to the 2nd to the 3rd. So I'm going to work from outside in. So I'm just going to go like this and multiply 3 times 2, which is 6, and 6 times 3, which is 18. So we just get a straight up 2 to the 18th power. And again, you just multiply. An exponent to an exponent, you multiply. All right, this is our last example here, I believe. It's one of those word problems. Express the volume of a cube with a side length of 5xyz as a monomial. Now remember, a cube, here's my beautiful drawing skills. Oops, that was not that so beautiful. A cube means that there's all sorts of sides, and when we're talking about finding volume, it's side times side times side. So volume is equal to side to the third power. So what we would do in this problem is we would take that 5x, y, z, and we would put it to the third power to get our official answer, which means that this third power comes to the 5, so it becomes 5 to the third power. It also goes to the x, so it becomes x to the third power, y to the third power, and z to the third power. Now the only problem that I have right now is that I can simplify this math, and if there's math that I can simplify, I need to. So 5 to the third power is 5 times 5 times 5, which is 125. So my official answer that I'm going to want to put down if this were to be a test is 125, x to the third, y to the third, z to the third. And that would be how we would determine the volume of said cube if one of the sides was 5x, y, z. All right, folks, that's what this lesson's all about. This is the Bermination. Hopefully this all makes sense to you guys, and you can determine what is a monomial and what is not, and then be able to simplify those things. All right, worth checking out, folks. Have a great, wonderful day.